Productivity Commission has criticised Australian governments, state and federal, for failing to overcome inequalities faced by Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. After Simon Love in Canberra, it's urging action regardless of the voice referendum, Simon.
Yeah, it is, Pete, and urging an agency to be set up to ensure that the outcomes of the Closing the Gap agreement in 2020 are delivered. But this report from the Productivity Commission's sobering reading for all governments across the country, saying that outcomes have not been reached when it comes to the Closing the Gap targets. Though the Productivity Commission does state that it is aware that the Voice to Parliament referendum will be held later in the year, and that it's an initiative that may result in new decision-making that may have accountability structures that could provide a further catalyst for changes to the way that governments work with Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. The report goes on to say, regardless of the outcomes of those processes, governments still have a responsibility to implement what they committed to in the agreement. And the report also goes on to say it's too easy to find examples of government decisions that contradict commitments in the agreement that don't reflect Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people's priorities and perspectives, and that exacerbate rather than remedy disadvantage and discrimination. Now, this is particularly obvious in youth justice systems. Now, this report was actually signed by the former Prime Minister, Scott Morrison. So the acting opposition leader, Susan Ley, you asked her on First Edition about this report and whether a new agency sounds like something that could lead to better outcomes.
All governments need to do better, and no one in a position of authority or accountability. And that's not just people in the parliament. It's people in the institutions themselves. It's people in the public service. It's people in local governance organisations. It's everyone.
Now, Linda Burney, the Minister for Indigenous Australians, has responded to this report, this draft report, saying there's much work to be done to meet all 4 priority reforms. The report shows again the status quo is not working. We have to do better. She's also saying that this report is a good case study for why the Indigenous voice to Parliament should be accepted by the Australian people. But regardless of the referendum, Pete, there's a lot of work to be done here.
Simon Love, thank you.